Hello and welcome to another Interprise UK plugins demonstration. Today I'm going to go through quite an exciting plugin that's been in development for about the last 12 to 18 months, and it's been something that's been requested a number of times, and that is the batches and serial number plugin that we've written. It's developed over, like I said, over the course of the last 12 months, so we've been slowly adding all the functionality, and we think we've got to a point now where we've got pretty much most of it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll log on, go through and we'll create a new item, show you how to set it up for batches, purchase some goods, and then see how they can be sold through the system. So just create a new item, just call it batch. So it's just creating like a standard stock item. What we'll find is when the stock item opens, you've got the is batch numbered custom field on the custom field section. If we tick this, this means it's for batch numbered, and now what you'll also see at the end is we've got a batches tab, and this displays the actual batches for the items in stock. Now at the minute, obviously we don't have any stock in, so let's go and receive some. So we go to this supply module, let's just tick batch. Okay, we just received 10. And we just quickly scoot to the receiving of the items. And what we'll see, we'll receive all the items to keep it nice and simple, but we'll see an additional tab here called batches. And in here what I can do is I can enter the actual batch number that I'm receiving. So what it also does, it also populates the actual GRN in there, the date, and a few other bits and pieces automatically, and that gives it a unique reference. So we've purchased 10. I mean, we could split the batch down, and so we'll actually received off 102 as well, and actually we could change this to 5 and this to 5 as well, if we wanted to. Use by date, is it on hold, what's the actual cost, what's the inflated cost, and we can also give it a batch unit of measure as well, and maybe if the batch is coming in a different unit measure to the actual stock item. We've also got the ability to enter a bin number. So if we just say that's the bin number that we're actually receiving those items into, and then we'll just save the GRN as we would do normally. So now what happens, if we just flick back to our inventory item, what we'll see is those two rows have now been entered. Okay, so now the next stage is obviously selling the items. So we go to customer, let's create a quick sales order. Enter 10. And what we find if we flick to batches, we get presented with that same screen that we saw in the stock item. So now we can either type in the batches of which what we're going to use, or we can just auto allocate, and this will do it on a use by date basis. So if I press auto allocate, you can see there the sold quantities have now gone up for 5 and 5, so that means I'm selling the full amount of each of the batch. So we just save that and come out, and then go to our batch document printing. As we would do, we'd print a pick note, so we scroll down to the bottom, we'd just print the pick note in question. I've created a customized pick note here. What you'll see is, like a normal pick note, I've got my batch description, quantity ordered, etc, etc. But what I've also got is my batch numbers. So batch 101, quantity 5, what's the bin location? Batch 102, quantity 5, bin location. So obviously it gives us that additional level of detail. Now that's obviously one way of working. From then we then confirm the stock and ship the goods out. And that way of working is obviously picking the batch at the point of sales order. Now some people don't work like that, so let me just receive some more stock in. Also we could do it on an adjustment, but let's just keep it simple and do it on a GRN. Receive 20 this time round. Flip to the batches tab. Now we don't actually have to enter the batch here. We could actually enter it after the event. Let's say we wanted to receive the stock fast, we could actually just do it at some other point, but we'll do it now. So it's on the system. So we'll put a bin number in. Again, we'll enter it into 103. Give it a batch UOM. Okay, so that's saved and onto the system. So now if we go back and create a sales order, let's say I want 10. And we're not going to enter. We're not going to enter a batch this time around. What we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, actually, what we do is we print the pick note off. And you could use the standard one actually for this, but I'll show you the customized one. And say, hey, we don't actually send a batch out with this because there is no. That's probably a bit confusing. The fact that it says quantity 0. What we may want to do is take that off. So you basically it will work one of two ways. So what happens now is the guy, when he's picking around the warehouse, he knows he needs to pick a batch. So rather than just confirming like he would do normally, what we'll do is in our confirmed routine, in here, flick to the bottom, he can then say, well actually, I'm picking these items, 10, quantity allocated. Do I want to allocate my stock, or allocate my batch I should say, at this moment in time? Now obviously I've only got one entry in here. If I had 2 or more, then I could pick any of these. Let's just auto allocate again. That's now allocated those. Confirm selected order. And what we find, if we go back to the actual stock item screen, which is the batches, we'll see here the batch 104 sales order number has now been sold, cost of 5, etc., etc. So what it means is we allows the actual user to either pick the batch or the actual the person entering the sales order in the office. And we've got a couple of other places how that we can either produce a batch number. For example, if on the assemblies, when we build stock, we've also got the advantage of being able to create a batch. If I just create a new batches assembly, we just select a simple component. So we select a frame, so that issue a batch number out of stock. We'll pick some other non-assembly items. We almost create a bike with that. Then what we'll do is say is batch numbered. So then what we'll do is when we create a new works order, we'll have our batch assembly item here. So we can say 10. Then I say in our batches, okay, we need to issue 10, so where they're going to come from. So we can auto allocate on our frame, so we just say that, and that takes 5 from the first batch, the oldest batch, then 5 from the newer batch. So that's that component. Then what we can do is we can build. But what we also need to do, obviously that's taken those batches out of stock. What we also need to do is we now need to issue a batch number to the finished item. So you can see here we've got a build. We can create an item. So what we can do now is we can call it build 101/006. And obviously we've got the same parameters that we had before. We can put where we've put them. So we can say we went to locate bin number 365, units of measure, it's in each. So what this screen here enables us to do is actually allocate any documents that we haven't actually put a batch number against. Could be a GRN, could be adjustment in, out, sales order. So we can see straight away if there's anything that has had a movement but no batch has been assigned to it. Okay, one final screen and a couple of final things I want to show you. Obviously on the sales order screen I've shown you that you don't have to allocate on it order entry. So let's use our new bike. Say that, I don't want to use that. Let's batches assembly, that's what I wanted to use. So I'm selling that item now. Now I don't want to actually issue the batch number to that bike that I'm selling. But what I do want to do is when I actually go into my auto allocate routine, what that enables me to do, put up my sales orders like I normally would, and we'll see here I've got batch assembly here that's allocated, and then what I can do is I can actually auto allocate the stock in the bottom. So as well as allocating like I normally would using this routine, I can also allocate my batch. So I can say straight away I can allocate it there. And what that means, when I actually then go to print my pick note, you can see at the bottom here on the pick note that I've now actually got my batch, and it's also got my bin number as it had before. Okay, a couple of other things that we've done with this. We've done obviously a few reports so that people can report on the data within the system. This is just a very simple one, which is to do with the batch and serial numbers and what's outstanding. So we've got a load of filter criteria, basically where the free quantity is greater than 0. If it was 0, it would mean the batch wouldn't be outstanding. And that gives us then our outstanding batches. So we've got our references numbers, our purchase quantity, sold quantity, and the free quantity. So really it's just a repeat of the screen that we've seen in different parts of the system. Okay, well I hope you enjoyed my batches presentation. Very pleased with the plugin, and we've got it implemented on a number of sites now, so it seems to be pretty tried and tested. If you'd like a demonstration, please call UK number 0161 303 4320. Many thanks.